My pursuit into pastoral ministry was not necessarily something I went into because I saw somebody ministering or because of someone. It was more something about surrendering myself to see what God wanted me to do. I had done some colporting or canvassing work as well as volunteer chaplain. When I searched for God's voice and direction, I was mainly asking God whether or not I was called to ministry. That is to preach and reach people with the gospel via the many forms that I knew about and were available. Fast forward 20 years, and God has led me and kept me in pastoral ministry for more than 15 years. My journey began with the question regarding the call to pastoral work. It was about a year after my baptism that I began to think about how great it would be to dedicate my life to helping other people that were in my similar situation. I was thinking about the people who had no purpose in life, like myself. I was thinking about the people who found themselves lost or without an understanding of who God is and His life-changing power. So I began to ask friends at church a simple question. How do you know God is calling you to become a pastor? And I remember people would give me all kinds of answers, but none of them satisfied my intellect or gave me an answer that I can work with. I said, God, I've been asking so many people about whether or not I am potentially called to ministry, and none of them have given me a good answer. If you are that amazing, powerful God who made the world by just speaking, I believe you can somehow let me know if I'm supposed to go into ministry. I found myself on a mountaintop in Kenneth Hahn State Park. Under a tree, I was pouring my heart out, asking God wholeheartedly to speak to me and let me know whether or not I was called to ministry. Finally, He did. My eyes landed on Ecclesiastes chapter 11. And I read the first words of verse 1. Cast your bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. And then I continued to read on to verse 6. In the morning sow your seed, and in the evening withhold not thine hand. Those words became clear by the power and ministry of the Holy Spirit. God was saying to me, preach the word. Cast your bread on the water. God was saying, preach the word, sow your seed. It was then that I had no doubt that God had spoken to me. And it was then that I knew that God was calling me to ministry. I serve within the Hispanic churches, and in our Hispanic churches, we face a challenge, the challenge of ministering to two groups. The first group is that first generation of migrants that come from different countries and bring their culture into Adventism. And the second group is the new generation of Adventists, those that were born here from the first generation immigrants and cannot, in a sense, relate completely to their parents' country and culture in the context of worship and mission. And as personally, being born in another country and being raised in the United States, I believe that God has given me views of both worlds and has put me in a leadership position to help bring these two generations together so that we can continue the mission of the Adventist Church, of God's church here on earth. One of the most fulfilling aspects of pastoral work for me is seeing the experience that people go through when they understand who God is and seeing them develop a personal relationship with Him. It is always amazing and fulfilling seeing a sinner turn into a saint, a drunk and violent person into a sober and peaceful-minded individual, a boastful, proud, or arrogant person into a humble and meek servant of God.